we are struggling. All businesses are struggling, but the ones that have been hit hardest are the small businesses. And with further closures, I think we're just going to see fewer and fewer small businesses. So please be kind and patient and compassionate. This is the thing that just blows me away, is the mentality of people tattling on each other. Like, we need to be supporting each other through this and helping each other and not trying to hurt each other.
With Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini, and today I'm bringing you the story of a local gymnastics facility in Port Hope, Ontario, that has increasing concerns over the continued government red tape and public health restrictions. In Port Hope, I had the opportunity to catch up with Emily and Cassandra from Epic Gymnastics, and here's what they, as a small startup business, have to say.
We were intending to open at the beginning of April. Obviously, that did not go very well for us. So we were able to open the beginning of July. But what that meant for us is that we were several months behind from where we were supposed to be. And then financially, that put us way, way, way behind from where we were intending to be.
And speaking of being behind, now we've seen all of these public health restrictions and government red tape imposed onto businesses, and especially, it seems, small businesses. What has that looked like? What's the financial strain for you and this business given that situation?
Well, there's definitely a lot more expenses involved with just trying to keep up with the ever-changing restrictions and mandates, and you almost need to hire additional people just to keep up with everything. So we have a full-time person basically just for cleaning, which is, of course, we would clean our gym regardless, but we're now having to clean, you know, during classes, in between each group of kids and in between every single person. It just becomes impossible to do unless you hire an additional person. So again, just more expenses than we ever expected going into the business.
Normally, we would be able to have a group on each event, and that would be totally fine. But right now we're restricted to 2, maybe 3 groups in the gym at a time. And although our gymnastics classes are very popular and we've got a lot of registration and most of them are full, we can't open anymore despite the demand. Because of the restrictions that are put in place. And when it comes to masks, despite masks being mandatory in indoor spaces, because we are a private facility and we only allow certain people in, we feel comfortable not asking people about their exemptions. So if someone is exempt and they are coming in without wearing a mask, we don't ask them about it. We trust that people are doing what is best for them, and that's where we leave it.
Yeah, and within the gym itself, and during any of our classes, participants don't have to wear masks, and that's true of any gym anywhere. We have gotten a little bit of pushback on that because our coaches also don't wear masks, but we're not legally required to, and we feel it's in the interest of safety that we are able to speak clearly to the children, as we are a high-risk environment. So yeah, some people are doing masks in their gym, but we feel, you know,
it's a safety hazard.
There's huge risk involved with that.
If we go back to the red tape and the restrictions imposed by public health and some of the governing bodies, is there anything that seems hypocritical to you, or maybe it doesn't make sense in your particular setting, but has been just sort of imposed broadly across the board?
A lot of the number restrictions certainly don't make sense for us because, I mean, I don't know that you can see, but we have a very large facility. And I know that this is a problem for a lot of gyms. The number restrictions on how many people can be in a space don't make sense for us. We have a lot of distinct spaces. We have an upstairs space for viewing. We have the gym space. We have a studio. There's a lot of room in here. And when they're coming out with numbers, 10 people, 50 people, it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah, actually what happened to us was in phase 2, the restrictions were based on your square footage. So going into phase 3, we actually could have less people in our building than we could have in phase 2, which doesn't make any sense. They're supposedly loosening the restrictions, and for us, it actually made it harder to operate our business. I would like to see a little more, I don't know, compassion and patience from people out in the world. We are struggling. All businesses are struggling, but the ones that have been hit hardest are the small businesses. And with further closures, I think we're just going to see fewer and fewer small businesses. So please be kind and patient and compassionate. This is the thing that just blows me away, is the mentality of people tattling on each other. Like, we need to be supporting each other through this and helping each other and not trying to hurt each other. These restrictions, I mean, you're talking about things that don't really make sense. Well, this does not make sense. Like, we are truly endangering these children because we can't protect them. So, I mean, obviously, if that scenario does come up, then we grab the kids.
Yes.
We do what we must do to keep them safe, because I think that immediate danger is far more important than anything else.
Right. And it seems sort of like a trade-off of safety, right? You're trading one element of safety for a potential or a perceived safety of another. When one risk is imminent in your face, you can see it, that's danger. And the other one may be lurking in the background somewhere or not.
Yeah.
And we've been given the green light to step in those moments, which, I mean, I think we'd take either way.
Yes.
But it is good to know that we will be protected if we do have to do that, if we have to step in to protect a child from immediate injury or danger. We know that we can do that, and we do if it comes up.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a change at all in the children, and as a coach, as a teacher, the mental health, the way that children are conducting themselves, their characters, dispositions?
Absolutely. We talk about this almost every day. We've never seen kids as hyper as they are these days. And I think it's because most of them are sitting in school, unable to leave their desks, unable to, get
Play at
exercise
recess,
and just be kids. So they come in here and they're wild. Like, I have never seen kids act like this. It's enough to be noticeable to us, and it's enough that, we've talked about this.
Yeah. And they're also mentally exhausted. Their ability to pay attention to instructions at the end of the day for our evening classes is just almost zero. They're so tapped out of just sitting and listening that they can't process the information we're giving to them.
Yeah.
So it's very sad to see how different children are right now.
But I mean, on the flip side, it's nice to be a place that they can come and, have a positive experience, get some energy out, and hopefully just be kids.
There seems to be a trade-off of safety here, exchanging the real safety of hands-on coaching for the perceived safety of social distancing. Being hands-on is a necessity when teaching young children almost anything, be it navigating a gymnastics course to doing ballet, horseback riding, hey, even swimming lessons require the physical assistance of an instructor. And this poor business, who had been developing their model and promoting their brand on social media for months before the official shutdown, had barely gotten their feet off the ground, only to face near constant uncertainty while the government and mainstream media push cases and threaten further restrictions and closures. More and more people are speaking up. They want the government to back up and let people decide and discern for themselves what activities they will or will not engage in. Let businesses and people conduct their lives as they see fit. They know the risks. We all do. One size fits all is never a good approach. With Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you're exempt from masking and getting tired of having to say so, head on over to maskexemption.ca to order your nifty little button today. That's maskexemption.ca.